Right now, the focus by the Trump administration is an economic chokehold. Okay, more power to them. And I know the heart to the president. Because he said this before. President Trump does not want to kill people. Want to kill more people. I mean, that's it. And any time that you bomb some facility, there's, of course, on the periphery, there's people that get hurt. So he would prefer to go the economic route. And more power to him. Okay, that also I think that would provide some stability for the markets. Anyway, that conversation with Jonathan Savage coming up a little later on the show. Freddie, I got some audio for you. I want to share with you some audio from, when was this? Yeah, this was from this morning on the Fox and Friends. Zorro and sus amigos, not Zorro and su pandilla, which is on Lele down the hall. Fox and Friends, and this is Trey Yanks. This dude, he has awesome reports. Insider behind the scenes conversations with the White House, insider behind the scenes conversations with Prime Minister Netanyahu and allies as well. So, man, you want the pulse of what's going on in this war against Iran. Trey Yanks from Fox News. I don't know, man. I haven't found anybody better than him. And he's been spot on many of his reports. So on the issue of leadership, like who is leading Iran? What is the morale of individuals on the ground that are fighting for Iran? So this was this morning, and it leads in with what's the name of that lady, the Sean Hannity's main squeeze, the homewrecker? What's her name? Ainsley Earhart. Okay, the female that you hear is that homewrecker, Ainsley Earhart, who's Sean Hannity's main squeeze, and then goes to Trey Yanks on leadership and around, like who's leading that place. So here's the audio for you on that one.
Trey, I saw some images of the Supreme Leader, allegedly the Supreme Leader being released over the weekend. How legitimate are those? And how are the troops responding? Have you heard anything? If they're not getting paid and they're still expected to fight?
It's a great question. That video that was circulating of Iran's new supreme leader, Mustafa Khamenei, is believed to be old. And it was circulating among Iranian state media. They were trying to show it as proof of life. But then analysts online pointed to the fact that this is actually showing Mustafa Khamenei from the city of Qom months before Operation Epic Fury began. What's interesting about paying soldiers in Iran, this is something that we actually saw during Operation Epic Fury. Remember, Fox reported on some intelligence indicating that as the United States and Israeli air power was hammering the Iranian regime, they had satellite imagery showing the different locations of where these missile launching facilities were located. And then they were actually tracking with real-time video some of the soldiers on the ground fleeing their positions. And so you have a position now where the Iranians are not only afraid of the U.S. strikes that could take place, but also they're not getting paid in some cases. And it raises questions about the morale inside the IRGC and the willingness for these ground soldiers to continue the fight if they are ordered by commanders in Iran.
Yeah, our very own, not our very own, but afternoons 2 to 4 p.m. on 710 KURV. From Fox and Friends, we got Kilmeade, right? He said after that women in Iran are trying to sell their hair out of desperation. I guess that was some, on the periphery report. 1,000% inflation. Their currency is worthless. They are not receiving at port necessary foods and materials and seeds and other stuff. So thing is, though, these soldiers, not all of them, obviously, in that report from Trey Yanks, not all of them are willing to die for the mullahs, willing to die for their Allah. Otherwise, you think they probably would stay at their missile firing location, their missile firing trucks, and be blessed, be transferred to their 70 some odd virgins, right? No, they're running. They're running for their lives, as Trey Yanks was reporting. And Morales, I can only hope, again, that the fall happens soon. It happens from the inside. Some of the audio this morning from Iran. We'll talk more about Iran later. I'll share that conversation with Jonathan Savage later in the program. Another conversation coming up on the show, California. They still have a 2035 self-imposed limitation on the type of vehicles that will be sold. There's a lawsuit behind the scenes of the Trump administration trying to force California to move away from their lunatic. I mean, can you imagine what California, the landscape? You guys were in auto sales and have auto dealerships or in sales selling cars out there. You know, California still has a self imposed deadline of 2035 where all vehicles must be zero emission. What does that mean? That means that every single vehicle, new vehicle, every single vehicle that is sold by 2035 in California, I'm wondering if that includes some of the used vehicles, but I know new vehicles, 2035, all of them need to be zero emission, means they need to be electric vehicles. You know, electric vehicles. If you look at everything that went to creating those batteries, went into creating the panels, the tires, the steel, whatever it is in it, that's not really zero emission. Because from all the factories that produced all the components that provided the plastics and panels and steel and aluminum and batteries, there's a rather significant, especially on the battery side, there's a rather significant, carbon footprint for all that. N'est-ce pas? Absolutely. Anyway, but because it's an EV, it's referred to as a zero emission. California, 2035 will be here before you know. Man, you blink an eye, it'll be 2030. Blink another eye, it'll be 2035. Saying how old Freddie and I would be? See, that'd be so we'll be we might be retired by then, Freddie, right? No, we ain't ever retiring. You know, they're gonna have to kick us out of here, Freddie. Yeah, they'll have to kick us out of here, and they might do that because of the changes in media someday. But it'll be here before you know it. Can you imagine? Not a single dealership in California, not a single dealership with gas powered or hybrid vehicles. That is just completely unimaginable. I don't know how that would be doable in the behemoth state of California. Every single dealership, every single car dealer, every single transaction has to be an EV. That's it. Wow. Well, they deserve the government after all they voted it in California. That conversation coming up with Jeff Bonasso, who has the automotive beat over at Fox. I want to share some audio for you. You have to go to the X page. Catherine Herridge, awesome reporter. And she's real deal investigative reporter. We have very few of these people within the business. We have people on social media, some of them that are developing quite a reputation for looking into government reports and exposing those online. That's good. That's the blessing of social media and citizen journalists who do an awesome job of reporting and journalism. But Catherine Herridge, when it comes to investigative stuff within the business, which actually that might be wrong on my part. She's not she's actually independent now. She's an online investigator. I'm sorry. She used to be right? She's not with CBS News anymore, right, Freddie? No, that's right. She used to be with Fox, was CBS. So now she's independent and doing a great job of this investigative report. So a few days back, right before the weekend, there was an announced settlement by Texas Children's Hospital. The Attorney General, Ken Paxton of Texas, took them to court and forced them to provide reimbursements to provide a reversal clinic of the damage that the Attorney General says was done as far as kids getting sex change surgeries and hormonal injections. Well, the Attorney General managed to get from Texas Children's a commitment, a settlement to open up, right, and pay for the reversal of all that. And some of the information that came out, and here, I want to share this from Catherine Herridge. It's about a minute or so in a report. Catherine spoke with a whistleblower nurse who provided details of how the Texas Children's used our tax money, your tax money, to fund these gender, sex change, snip, cut, chop the weenie off, and all this from kids. This is wrong. This is what the modern Democrat Party defends and they advocate for. This is what James Delosico Talarico, this is what he wants to protect. He believes in trans kids. There ain't no damn thing as trans kids. There's only stupid parents and so-called professionals, doctors and counselors. I don't know. What was the motivation? Money? Is that what it is? There's no such thing as trans kids. And you as a common sense, God-fearing Democrats. I know a bunch of y'all are still Democrats out there. You got to push back against this satanic twisting of culture and abuse of children. Anyway, so the Texas Attorney General managed to force Texas Children's Hospital to go reverse. You created this damage, said the Attorney General. Now you got to create more clinics to go backwards. Like, I don't know how, but try to make everything right if the patients want to. Thank God for whistleblowers who came up and said something about this. Now, how did they use your tax money? Let me share this audio with you real quick. Let's see if I can cue it from the beginning.
How did the alleged fraud with taxpayer dollars work?
Well, in 3 ways. Number one is the hospital used the incorrect sex on the patient's medical record. Instead of stating the true biological sex on the patient's record, the hospital used the preferred gender identity of the patient.
Now, realize it was illegal in Texas. You cannot be changing the sex of a child. You can't be doing snip, snip, cut, and injecting other hormones in children. Well, when we report the expense on this, let's just report the new sex that we created, right? Let's forget what the birth certificate said.
That's the first thing. The second thing is they use the patient's preferred name. And the third way is they misdiagnosed patients intentionally. They misdiagnosed patients who were struggling with their gender identity. They listed, for example, that a 15-year-old girl had a testosterone deficiency and a boy had an estrogen deficiency. A teenage boy had an estrogen deficiency. Now, of course, you have to remember that on the patient's official record, when a doctor goes in and looks, they're not seeing that it's a biological female or a biological male. They're seeing the preferred gender identity, and they're seeing a fake name. Now there's a false diagnosis that is attached to the patient's record. And so when the hospital goes and submits this claim for reimbursement to Medicaid, you can imagine how difficult it would be for Medicaid to ascertain that this is a fraudulent claim being submitted.
When you look at these records and you see that a teenage girl is being diagnosed with a testosterone deficiency, you're like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, teenage girls don't have high levels of testosterone.
Right.
Duh.
But that was one of the ways that the hospital was skirting Texas law, because they needed the reimbursement from Medicaid. So to obtain that reimbursement, they had to use false codes.
Híjole. Go look for her work. She's doing God's work, doing our society, doing yeoman's work to protect our society, protect common sense. That's Catherine Herridge and her reports on X. Time's 9:22, the Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. This hour, the program, a service of Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing, ChamberlainLTD.com. Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing. Hey, look at that. It's in the name. Waterproof your building. Yeah, I know that's the last thing you're probably thinking about right now because, well, the pounding sun and the heat and the oppressive temperatures. Well, at some point, it's coming back. Could be a tropical system, or it could be the occasional very violent, the pounding rain, heavy thunder shower activity that sometimes happens. It's just there's so much energy in the atmosphere. Put a little moisture and mix up the temperatures a little bit, and pop, your building gets poured on by very, very heavy water. It could be like an Olympic-sized pool of water that pounds your building for a while. Is it ready? Is that commercial roofing system, is it ready? Do you know Do you know what to look for? Chances are no to all the above, especially what to look for. Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing does. And for free, they can give you an expert report on the condition of your roofing system. What are you waiting for, amigo? It's free and gratis, no expense to you. They just want to meet you. That's it. Be part of your contact list. Anything happens in the future, well, you can call them or not, but they want to meet you and give you some recommendations and give you a free report on the condition of your roofing system at 956-655-6178, Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing. Time is 9:25. The Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. We got Astros baseball, and it's at 8:15 tonight. They're on the road. They're playing the Giants. They're in San Francisco for the next 3 games. We got 2 broadcasts coming up because Wednesday's an afternoon game. So 8:15 tonight, Astros at the Giants. Your station for Astros baseball, News Talk 710 KURV. Let's go to the nation's capital, and Jared Halpern joining us. It's vacation time again, right? Senators left town, right?
They did. They got done early Saturday morning. They were able to confirm the Attorney General, Todd Blanche, by a single vote. They were able to get that kind of CR framework passed, so that will kick it to the House. That really lowers the likelihood of a government shutdown before the election, which certainly congressional leaders are eager to avoid. But obviously stuff that they were not able to get across the finish line. They ended up not taking any sort of procedural vote on that college sports bill that has kind of been through a lot of back and forth. This is being done by Ted Cruz, Maria Cantwell, a Democrat from Washington, kind of responding to a lot of issues affecting college sports, NIL, the transfer portal, all of the consolidation of the major conferences. There were supposed to be provisions in there kind of setting federal standards for Title IX and what to do with transgender athletes. That did not get done. So I don't expect any sort of major reforms to the college sports landscape before college football starts in the next couple of weeks.
Sure, but that's so many different issues. Again, typical Washington style, that put everything into one big legislative soup. Portal, conference consolidation, the transgender stuff.
A lot of you got to remember, so much of this because colleges get an awful lot of federal funding, and so a lot of this is trying to ensure. The NCAA, like any other organization, still has like antitrust oversight and things like that, right? So there is a role if Congress wants to take it up to play it, but there are going to be those that kind of argue this is happening way too late, like the genie's out of the bottle. College athletes are getting paid millions of dollars in some cases, and so how do you kind of rein back in that kind of amateur sports status? Because remember that when you don't talk about the major sports like football and basketball and baseball and things like that, college athletics is still the number one track for the Olympics, right? So many U.S. Olympians come through college athletics, and so there certainly needs to be some sort of understanding of how that works and eligibility and those kinds of questions that have been posed over the last couple of years as you've seen this massive change in kind of how college sports are operating and how student athletes are being compensated and all of those issues. You've seen some unionized, though. Certainly student athletes are much more empowered than they were even 5 or 10 years ago.
Yeah, and richer for it as well with the endorsements that they're allowed to conduct. But have you gauged, is there appetite to pass this before, in the lame duck session before the end of the year? It seems like it's a lot.
I think there is. There was a little bit of surprise that didn't get through the Senate before they left. And part of that is because there were some last minute objections that were raised that we're trying to work out. So I do think that there is an appetite. President Trump is supportive of the bill. As I said, it has Republican and Democratic co-sponsors. There is an appetite, I think, to get it done before the lame duck session after the election. But it's all about the math. It's about the numbers and kind of the timing of all of that. There's going to be some other issues that come in front of the Senate and the House that they're going to want to have to respond to as well in a pretty limited amount of time.
Let me bring another issue. President Trump late last week had mentioned Texas and the data center pause that Governor Abbott is conducting now or calling for across the state, and take an inventory of data centers that are signing up to set up in Texas. Bring your own water. Bring your own power, says Governor. Okay, understood. And lawmakers might do that next year, which is not unreasonable. They can afford. It seems like they can afford all of that. But the president said that the pause was not a good idea. And I found his comments interesting.
I mean, the president's been really supportive of these data centers. He believes that they are necessary for the United States to stay at the forefront of AI development, of all of these emerging technologies, believes that it will actually bring down energy costs because they are now allowing a permitting process where these data centers can create essentially their own electric grid and then create almost like a surplus of electricity. But it's a fascinating debate because this is like a super partisan kind of thing, right? I mean, there are Democrats that are opposed. I mean, Kathy Hochul in New York put a pause on data centers. You now have Greg Abbott talking about it. There are a lot of questions, right? People want to know what it's going to do to their home values. They want to know what it's going to do for noise. They want to know what it's going to mean for congestion. What's being beamed into the sky, right? There are a lot of questions that people have about these types of data centers, which isn't uncommon for new types of technology. But President Trump is really pushing states to fast track these approvals, has put pressure on governors who have tried to slow down the process because he says, one, it's critical for the AI race, and two, it is a job creator, and that is certainly something that every presidential administration wants to see. Back in March,
and I've kept notes on this, back in March, the president had to sit down with bigwigs in tech and told them, like what you mentioned, you dudes create your own power, and you make sure that it doesn't increase the electricity that folks are paying for nearby. So he's pretty much saying the same thing that Greg Abbott was saying. And I found his criticism saying, well, that's done. That's a bad idea. No, that's actually what needs to take place.
Well,
to make sure
because what he does not want is a pause, right? He doesn't want this to slow down. And that would be his discrepancy with Greg Abbott. I think Abbott is looking at this maybe from a slightly different one. I mean, Abbott's in a pretty tough reelection bid. And so this is going to be an issue, I imagine, in the race. But beyond that, governors are kind of closer to this. And so, I think, as I said, you've seen Democratic governors, Republican governors kind of say the same thing about these data centers. Not that they're necessarily opposed to it, but that they wanted to slow down for more comprehensive studies, which is not something that's happened at the federal level.
Yeah. And it'll happen in the blink of an eye. All right, pal. Thanks for the update. And don't look, now the Astros are still in first place, half game in front of the Rangers, second wind. Not as bad as the Dodgers, though, of late, and the other league, but still close to 500, just one game above 500. And the Rangers at 500. All right, pal. Call you tomorrow. That's Jared Halpern for Fox News up in D.C. Time's 9:32. The Sergio Show on 710 KURV. Made possible by Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing, ChamberlainLTD.com.
Freedom is calling, and the savings are bigger than ever at the Toyota Far Freedom Sales Event. Drive home an all-new Tacoma for just $92 a month, a powerful Tundra for $177 a month, a stylish Camry for only $92 a month, or a versatile RAV4 for just $189 a month. Visit Toyota Far at 1625 West Interstate 2 in Far, shop online at toyotafar.com or call 946-815-2285.
Toyota Far, somos buena gente.
If you want to keep your storefront as it is, well, that's your business. If you want a beautiful new storefront, now that's our business. With Refresh 50/50. Refresh 50/50 is the City of McAllen's grant program that offers up to $25,000 in matching funds to beautify your storefront. Refresh 50/50 provides funds for improvements like new doors and windows, exterior paintings and art projects, and repair or removal of old signs and awnings. Add new lighting to enhance your storefront, install permanent landscaping, or finally repair roofs, stucco, and other parts of your exterior. The City of McAllen increased Refresh 50/50 grants to $25,000 to help more small businesses grow. Over 100 McAllen businesses have been helped. Restaurants, retail, and more. Let us help you. Contact the City of McAllen Office of Retail and Business Development at 681-1001 or apply at refresh5050.com.
We're out of bottled water again.
That's nuts. I just bought a case of water last time I went shopping.
I'm not drinking tap water.
We need a better solution.
Call Culligan.
Hey, Culligan man.
Stop buying little bottles of water at the store. Our Culligan drinking water system makes an almost unlimited supply of fresher, cleaner water that tastes pure. It's bottled water without the bottles. For better water, go to CulliganRGV.com or call 956-399-1780.
With the Discover Cashback Card, earn 5% cash back at different categories each quarter on up to $1,500 in purchases. It pays to Discover. Terms apply. See discover.com/5 for details.
Fox News, I'm CJ Papa. Primaries tomorrow in Vermont, Connecticut, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Fox's Alexandria Hobb joins us from Madison.
When Democrat primary voters head to the polls tomorrow, they're going to be answering the question, how far left is the party willing to go? Francesca Hong, she is considered the front runner in this governor's race. She is a state representative, former restaurant owner, and Democratic Socialist endorsed by the DSA, but has not received a direct endorsement from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or Bernie Sanders.
In South Carolina, Republicans would choose the candidate to run for the Senate seat left open by the death of the late Senator Lindsey Graham. His sister, Darlene Graham, the interim senator, backs her biggest supporter.
I stand with President Trump.
A Republican earlier on Fox and Friends, she will hold a tele-rally with President Trump tonight with affordability at the center of her campaign. And Alabama holds a primary for a few congressional districts. America's listening to Fox News.
Here's 710 KURV, AccuWeather forecast. Increasingly hot over the next couple of days. Partly sunny, breezy today with highs in the upper 90s to low triple digits. The southeast winds 10 to 20 miles an hour. Breezy this evening. Clear, warm, and humid tonight. Lows into the lower 80s with the southeast winds still at 10 to 20. Then mostly sunny. Quite hot for us Tuesday. Highs in the upper 90s to almost 105. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina on the Valley's official weather station, 710 KURV.
Broadcasting from the Valley's commercial and fleet headquarters studio at PayneAutoGroup.com. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV. The Sergio Show with Sergio Sanchez. Rapid fire headlines.
Fascinating economic note for the state of Texas. Let's start there. Pocketbook issue. Yeah, it's in Southeast Texas, but this will have tentacles all over the place, especially now we have, we've got our neighbor Elon Musk and SpaceX right here in the valley. SpaceX planning a huge semiconductor plant in Grimes County that is on the northwest side of Houston. Governor Greg Abbott touting the project, saying it's going to be a multi-billion-dollar investment. Bring thousands of jobs from outside, bring them into Texas.
Governor Abbott says Texas was selected because of its workforce, infrastructure, and business climate. SpaceX says the 100 million square foot facility will produce logic, memory, and advanced chip packaging, supporting its future needs on Earth and in space. Jobs are expected to include engineers, technicians, and plant operators. Local school districts approved agreements connected to the project, which also has support from Grimes County and regional economic development leaders in the region.
Steve Randall, News Talk 710 KURV.
Now, that's a massive data center that obviously is doing it right. Because, I say this because Governor Greg Abbott has been on a tear of late, criticizing data centers on water usage, power usage, making sure that we take inventory. Who's coming? What do they want? How much they're going to use to make sure we have enough power and water. And see, as I've said before, data centers can recycle their own water. Data centers can produce their own power, create their own grid, and even put juice on the Texas grid. Anyway, on that issue, I just spoke with Jared Halpin about this moment tonight. Governor Greg Abbott seems to be finding himself at odds with President Trump when it comes to developing and producing more data centers in Texas.
Texas came up in President Trump's interview with Punchbowl News over the importance of winning the global AI race, which he called bigger than the internet.
I saw Texas the other day sort of is against data centers. I think it's a mistake. I'm not taking positions, I just think it's a mistake because there are other communities that want it.
In an effort to slow data center development, last week Governor Abbott called for an audit of every application. Back in June, he said this:
"We must prohibit them from building AI data centers in rural Texas, and we must eliminate the tax break they are getting."
And now the San Antonio City Council is weighing in. Councilman Rick Galvan.
I'm calling for a pause on all new data centers here in our city.
In Austin, Chris Fox, News Talk 710 KURV.
Data centers will be necessary for driving those driverless taxis that maybe you have encountered in Austin or up in Central Texas, San Antonio, or other places like that. Yeah, those self-driving vehicles will need computers that run faster than lightning, it seems, to make sure to do the proper calculations and get you safe to where you need to be. Now, that's for the driverless taxis. What about driverless 18-wheelers? More of them are coming to Texas. I told you days back about Dallas, Houston, I-45, all these driverless big rigs. Well, there's another company that wants to put those driverless big rigs from Laredo to San Antonio and up to Dallas.
This latest push is by a company called Aurora. They're testing autonomous trucks between San Antonio and Austin with the goal of going from Laredo to Dallas on I-35. John Esparza with the Texas Trucking Association says this actually creates jobs at the delivery hubs.
They're taking it from those hubs and dispersing it from there. So it still requires drivers at the end of the day.
This same company already has self-driving trucks delivering freight between Dallas and Houston. Michael Board, News Talk 710 KURV.
Fascinating technology that's being applied at school, and it's mandatory that school districts use this now to protect your kids in the heat. High school football practice, bands, marching band practice in full tilt right now. And in order to protect the kids from extreme heat, the UIL has new safety protocols in place and new technology in place.
It's called the Wet Bulb Globe Temperature, a device that measures heat, humidity, wind speed, and solar radiation. Some schools have tried it out, but now it's required by the UIL for football or any outdoor sport, and for marching band as well. Here's UIL Athletic Director Ray Cepeda.
One of the things that we felt like we could do a little bit better was to adopt the WBGT protocols as it relates to heat management and the practical implications that has for our practices.
If the WBGT reads too high, practices can be shortened or even called off. New protocols also mandate all schools stage an on-site rapid cooling zone featuring cold water immersion tubs filled with ice water just in case a student overheats.
That's reporter Russell Scott. Food and Drug Administration is giving permission to ranchers. You got some livestock out there. Giving permission to ranchers to use wound spray to help prevent new cases of the New World screwworm.
The spray is called Click Extra. It can be applied on or around wounds on sheep, cattle, goats, and other animals. The FDA has concluded it's reasonable to believe that Click Extra may be effective in the prevention of NWS, and the potential benefits of the product outweigh its risks. It's an insect growth regulator that disrupts the development of larvae and halts their life cycle. Texas Ag Commissioner Sid Miller is applauding the FDA's decision to grant the emergency use authorization. He says every new weapon in the hands of those on the front lines strengthens the ability to defend American agriculture. Click Extra is available over the counter.
And if you can get out to ranch country and enjoy, the beautiful clear sky. Actually, I'm wondering, we still get a lot of light pollution. I'm thinking you probably need to make it all the way, I would say at least about 40 miles north of the cities on the way to the Border Patrol checkpoint. But still, Falfurrias still provides some pollution. The best place is West Texas. Yeah. Like Laredo West. I-10 west of San Antonio. That'd be the perfect place. I mean, you can pretty much see the galaxy especially in West Texas, Big Bend area. Oh, anyway, I say this because I look to the sky. You can get out to ranch country and you see, some stars. The heavens will be putting on a show. The Perseid meteor shower by midweek should be putting on quite the show.
It happens as the Earth passes through the trail of debris left behind by the Swift-Tuttle comet, debris that burns up on hitting the atmosphere. The best time to watch will be overnight, Wednesday, August 12th through Thursday, August 13th, when a new moon offers darker skies. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
Time is 9:43. That's okay, Freddie. What we can say. I need to mention this real quick. The Sergio Show on 710 KURV, service of Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing. I want to say thank you to the Texas Association of Broadcasters and Oscar, their leader. So a few days back, we submitted some interviews that we did with Angels of Love. Angels of Love is a wonderful ministry. That's what I'll call them, ministry. Because they're doing their best to educate, train, push back against the scourge of domestic violence. And we did several interviews. We continue to do. I mean, this is their radio station. Whatever they want, they can show up and talk about whatever they're doing. Angels of Love. But we submitted some of the conversations, and I must say, I think some of the stuff that you were able to find, Freddie, was, as I was telling the gang at the Texas Association of Broadcasters, that's where I was last week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday was the day we drove back. But we were up there with TAB last week. And like I told the gang of their, not exactly ratings material. You talk about domestic violence on radio, man, that's an audience kill. Oh, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to take my mind there. Yeah, but you have to talk about stuff like this. Anyway, the interviews that, some of the recent interviews, we sent that over to TAB up in Austin, Texas Association of Broadcasters. And they gave Radio United, our company, KURV radio specifically, the 2026 Bonner McLean Public Service Award for those conversations, for putting it out there. And I know some of the interviews that we did, especially, I recall one interview that we did with, I called her sister Sarah Sagredo Hammond, and she's got an AC company. But she went through hell and back in a situation with her first husband. And long story short, she what I remember from that conversation, she didn't listen to her parents. She went with a person she shouldn't have. Wound up in Reynosa, right, Freddie? It was in Mexico. No, it was in Mexico. I'm thinking it's in Reynosa because she's around this area, but she wound up literally kidnapped by violent, domestic. It's a domestic violence situation that just spiraled out of control, and her partner. Anyway, so it was like a kidnapping for 2 days. And yes, with just stuff you don't want to think about. But you have to talk about this. You have to talk about this on the radio. You have to push back against this ignorance, this inferiority complex that some of these men, it's mostly men. There are some women that are toxicas and violent toxicas. They'll scratch your face off, but it's mostly men. So because of those conversations that we had, we put them on the radio as is. We got this 2026 Bonner McLean Public Service Award. I want to thank you. I want to thank the Texas Association of Broadcasters for that recognition. Here's the plaque. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, I know Freddie's doing the online thing. So that's where I was on. Can you see it, Freddie? Yeah. It was Wednesday, Thursday, and I drove back on Friday. And this is the second. We haven't done much to put in, but we did a few years back, and a couple of years back, all the work that we're blessed to do with Vanny Cook, the Children's Cancer Clinic, that was recognized as well. So thank you, everybody in the audience, our supporters, for allowing us to stay here, be on air. Man, I hope we're able to be here for you as often as you need us to be. We know that you love KURV. I recognize that you love this radio station. This is a generational love over the past, because of this video stuff, past several days. several weeks, and a few people have come up and said, "Hey, I've been listening to you for like whenever, whatever, however long you've been. I've been listening to you." That would be a KURV baby or a Surge baby, right? Like a Rush baby. Like when people say, "I grew up listening to you because my dad would listen to you all the time driving around school." So thank you. We're loving KURV, and we will love on you as well. You know how to reach out to us and find us in case and you want to announce make an announcement with your organization, trying to do some good in the community. One good thing that happened as a result, I bumped into baby bump, Roxanne Garcia Flores, Roxanne Flores, part of our family here at KURV. We went after church a couple weeks back, family and I went to church, and she and I saw Marcus, her husband, and the babies. I appreciate little babies. She's pregnant again. She did mention that, right? Okay, good. Otherwise, I outed it. And we got to see Roxanne. She came in for me on Wednesday. That's right, on Wednesday last week, as I was over there with the TAB. And well, she's bringing in Flores number 4, baby Flores number 4. But as long as we can, but believe me, if she can, I'd love to see Roxanne come back and spend more time. She had, we're so blessed to have her last week. She's always a joy to listen to. I was able to listen a little bit of the programming from last week, and of course, she's just a natural. She's a natural part of the KURV family, and I hope she'll come back and visit us on air again and fill in for me or do some special programming. Time is 9:50. This is the Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. This hour of the program, a service of Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing, ChamberlainLTD.com.
Progressive Insurance. Progressive can protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. In short, a lot of things. Bundle today at Progressive.com.
Are you in the market for a new Toyota or pre-owned Toyota? Look no further than Toyota of Far. They have extensive selection of Toyota cars and Toyota trucks and Toyota SUVs, along with exceptional customer service every step of the way. Number to call, 956-815-2285.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Audio streaming on KURV.com. Powered by South Texas Buick GMC. McAllen Mission.
Time is 9:51. The Sergio Show on 710 KURV. From the pulse of the 956. And also on, what you got us on, Freddie? All the standard stuff? Like X, YouTube, and Facebook, right? You miss any of the conversations we have or some of the information, you can do a rewind there. And I always invite you to join us at Radio Para Mi, the free app. You can rewind there as well. Listen to KURV on your smartphone. Also, producer Fred Cruz. A reminder, a program note for KURV. So on Thursday, Lord willing, we'll be at the Institute for Leadership and Capital Projects powwow. They're having a get-together, lunch get-together. Folks who are in contractors and developers and architects and engineers and even some folks that are representing, like water entities and districts and school districts and, like big capital projects. The conversations, and they have great panelists. And find out who the panelists are, by the way. Next hour of the Sergio Show, I have a chance to reprise, play for you the top conversation of the morning, which is with Jose Delgado. He's the vice president with I link up the Institute for Leadership Capital Projects, and it's an impressive panel from AEP, from the Public Utility Commission, and other folks who are experts in water, as you heard in the newscast. And of course, the news around here is always news and information that is of relevance to your pocketbook and your future and your kids' careers and investment and business. Yeah. Data centers, power, water, all that stuff. So powering Texas and regional growth this coming Thursday. It's the Institute for Leadership Capital Projects, conversations on infrastructure, conversations on workforce issues as well. A couple of panels all over lunch at the very beautiful Harlingen Convention Center. Yes, water and electricity and water, and training the workforce. And as part of the conversation that I had with Jose Delgado that we'll share with you next hour, there's a reason why the state of Texas is saying all this amazing multi-billion-dollar investment, the shipyard and the refinery, and Elon Musk and other tier one coming to the area as well, tier one here in McAllen Mission area with Valeo General Motors, computers and sensors and like state-of-the-art stuff that nobody else will have except here in McAllen will be producing it. But there's a reason. It's because there is a synergy taking place. We have the workforce. We have the huercos. We have a young population. We have the schools. We have the school districts and the universities and college. We have it. We have it. What is needed and they're coming here. They're here. They're on their way. More on their way is because we have all this. And we just need the same type of synergy that we see in education and workforce, and the sense of urgency there. We also need it on the issue of electricity and water. And I get a feeling that there is. Legislative session next year will take care of this. I'm convinced. Time is 9:55. The Sergio Show on 710 KURV. This hour made possible by Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing.
History's unfolding, and you're listening to it on News Talk 710 KURV, Edinburgh, McAllen, Harlingen, Brownsville.
It's driving oil prices back up. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The tension over the Strait of Hormuz has oil up more than 3%. WTI back over $80 a barrel.
Iranian officials are now making new demands, calling on the United States to permanently end the war and compensate Iran for damages before the strait would reopen.
But President Trump tells Axios he's playing it low-key, only semi-negotiating with Iran, where inflation is far worse than here. And Fox's Trey Yingst also reports from Tel Aviv.
A senior Israeli official told Fox News that they are reviewing credible evidence inside of Iran of mounting economic pressure on the regime. They say regime officials are having to choose where money goes domestically.
The earth quaked this morning in South America.
The quake was felt in Colombia and Ecuador, with an epicenter around 250 miles west of the Colombian capital, Bogota. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, it had a magnitude of 7.4 and a depth of 66 miles. Reports are coming in of injuries and severe damage to buildings in cities including Pereira and Quibdó.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. We are just getting word of at least 2 deaths now in Colombia. This is a last full day to campaign ahead of primaries in several states. Tomorrow, Minnesota and Wisconsin, Connecticut and Vermont. In Ohio, Congressman Max Miller keeps running for re-election despite calls to drop out of the race. He's passed a deadline that would have let Republicans replace him as the nominee.
Still refusing to step aside over abuse allegations made by his ex-wife, the daughter of Ohio Republican Senator Bernie Moreno, who's also called Miller unfit to serve, following an ugly divorce and bitter custody battle. Allegations that Miller has denied. He represents Ohio's 7th district in the southern and western suburbs of Cleveland, a district that favors the GOP by 5 points, though a seat that Republicans are now worried could flip because of the political fallout.
That's Jeff Manasso. America's listening to Fox News.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids Max Strength. Its dual-active formula has 1,500 milligrams of calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaids spells powerful relief. 1,500 milligrams is our highest amount of antacid per tablet. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Identity theft can cost more than you think. Drained investment accounts, stolen tax returns, lost wages, expenses for lawyers. It's a lot. That's why LifeLock is backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which covers up to $1 million for stolen funds, fees, and experts and lawyers, and out-of-pocket expenses. Don't face the burden of identity theft alone. Protect your future and finances with LifeLock. Join now. Save up to 30% off your first year with promo code BECK at LifeLock.com. 1-800-LifeLock, promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. Terms to apply.
Well, in addition to the 4 states holding primaries tomorrow, there is a special Republican primary in South Carolina, where Senator Darlene Graham, appointed to replace her late brother Lindsey, is running to stay in office, facing 9 other Republicans. She tells Fox her focus is on affordability.
Like most South Carolinians, I live the struggles here too. And, you know, we have to get the economy booming and cut government spending in order to get the prices down.
The winner tomorrow will face Democrat Annie Andrews in November. Now, today, Senator Graham will be joined by War Secretary Pete Hegseth at a ceremony honoring her brother.
Joint Base Charleston, serving the U.S. Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, and Coast Guard in South Carolina, is being renamed for the late Lindsey Graham, the state's long-serving U.S. Senator. Graham died last month. He served longer than 3 decades in the U.S. Air Force Reserves. His sister, Darlene Graham, is now serving the remainder of his Senate term.
It means the world to me and our family. I'm really looking forward to it today. It's just such a special honor to have the base named after him.
To be the GOP nominee for November's election. Eben Brown, Fox News.
In a few hours, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche will be sworn in as the full-time AG after the Senate voted to confirm Blanche Saturday. The president's also getting a new lawyer.
September 1st will be the first day on the job for Will Sharp as the new White House counsel, says President Trump, posting on Truth Social. Will is tough, strong, and smart. He loves our country and respects the law. Will Sharp will do a great job as White House counsel. The 40-year-old who went to Harvard Law School replaces David Warrington, who's leaving the administration to join the private sector. The president pointing out his new legal eagle previously served as a federal prosecutor and represented him in a number of cases, including at the U.S. Supreme Court. CJ Papa, Fox News.
On Wall Street, a bit of selling to start the week. The Dow is down 51 points. The NASDAQ is losing 38. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, and your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance.
Here's 710 KURV. AccuWeather forecast. Increasingly hot over the next couple of days. Partly sunny, breezy today with highs in the upper 90s to low triple digits. The southeast winds 10 to 20 miles an hour. Breezy this evening. Clear, warm, and humid tonight. Lows into the lower 80s with the southeast winds still at 10 to 20. Then mostly sunny. Quite hot for us Tuesday. Highs in the upper 90s to almost 105. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina on the Valley's official weather station, 710 KURV.
This segment brought to you by City of McAllen. Refresh 5050.
Hi, this is Congresswoman Monica De La Cruz. Are you having difficulty getting answers from federal agencies? My office is here to help. Call us at 956-800-6069 to share your issue, and we will be in touch. Team De La Cruz is here to serve you. God bless. Paid for with official funds from the office of Congresswoman De La Cruz.
I'm Omar Ochoa, and my job is to take on insurance companies. After a storm damages your home or business, the insurance company already has a team protecting its interests. You should too. At the Omar Ochoa Law Firm, my team investigates the damage and fights to hold insurance companies accountable under your policy. Call the Omar Ochoa Law Firm today for a free consultation at 253-3121. That's 253-3121. The insurance company has a team, so should you.
Broadcasting from the Valley's commercial and fleet headquarters studio at PayneAutoGroup.com. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV. From the Radio United Broadcast Center, this is the Sergio Show. Talking about the news headlines and topics that affect you. And now, the Sergio Show with Sergio Sanchez.
Happy Monday, hour 2 of the Sergio Show on 710 KURV. And producer Freddie. I'm Sergio Sanchez, the Sergio Show. I'm Sergio Sanchez, along with the show producer Fred Cruz, top news radio producer in all of Texas. And you guys checking in from Dallas, San Antonio, or Houston. A ver, vente. Fight me on this one. I'll show you what Freddie does every single day to keep us on air and online, which we're online at Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and X Live as well. Hour 2 of the program is a service of South Texas Buick GMC. Big thank you as well to Lone Star National Bank. You guys been hopping around social media. Have you seen pictures of Coca-Cola cans that, you know how they customize names, right? I don't know when they started this campaign, but I thought it was genius marketing. I mean, you have standard Coca-Cola sales. I'm not a huge fan. Nothing wrong with it's way too much sugar. Every time I get the craving and hankering for a Coca-Cola, because I mean, let's face it, Coca-Cola. I mean, you eating some pizza. Let's say, and I enjoy the going to the tavern, to like the Pizza Hut, and with a little checkered table cover and the little lights and all that. Well, pizza, it just hot dog, cheeseburger, it just tastes better with a fizzy Coke, sweet Coke. I try to do the Coke Zero thing if I get a hankering for something like that, and I'm reminded of these, like science project displays. It's like every year they have a science competition in all these schools. There's always one or two kids that go to the old standard. They'll show you, they'll put like an orange juice bottle, I don't know, like Tropicana. They'll put a Coca-Cola bottle, and they'll put like milk or something like that. They'll put like different empty bottles, Gatorade, orange juice, Coca-Cola, and they'll show you in a baggie, in a Ziploc baggie, they'll show you how much sugar is in there. And I don't know how the hell they do it in a Coca-Cola can, like a little, what is it, like 8-ounce can? Well, what is it, 12-ounce can? The little aluminum cans. They have an empty Coca-Cola can, aluminum can, and that little display, cardboard display, and they have like this big old Ziploc bag full of sugar. This is how much sugar in grams. So they put the gram amount of sugar in that bag. How in blazes do they get all that sugar melted into all that little bit of liquid in that can? I always think about that. And no, I love sugar. I don't love it that much. That's a sugary death, man. So anyway, that's just my thought. But there's a consistent sale, or maybe a declining sale. I would suspect it's a declining sale of sugary soda, sugary fizzy soda, because it's sugar, and we just don't need that extra sugar. I suspect. Still. So what does Coca-Cola do? And this is why they make the big bucks at the marketing office. Simon said, "Hey, let's put a series of Coca-Cola cans that have just people's names on it. Sophia, Mark, Fred, whatever. Just throw it out there. Oh, hey, look at that!" And they start. You could see people when it started. You could see people going through the little refrigerators at H-E Butt and Walmart, going through. Oh, let me see if I can find my sister's name. Let me see if I can find my mom's name. And then they did mom, dad, or something like that. Like it's a very generic. Friend. Like I bought one for Fred that said friend and threw it away. You threw it away because of the sugar thing, right, Freddie? Not because you're a friend. You actually drank it? Oh, sorry, Fred. Genius marketing. Yeah, go ahead.
Look, I think having a Coke once in a while is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you're going to drink like 2 or 3 a day, that would be crazy.
Agreed.
Right?
I agree. You know what it gets me is root beer. I can't say no to root beer.
Yeah.
I just, ugh. You got me there. Freddie, can you ask an intern real quick? Okay. No, not to go get me a root beer. Ask the intern, go fish, the following. Did the customized name, right, on Coca-Cola cans, I suspect it did. It increased revenue for them. Like, did the Coca-Cola custom named cans increase revenue for Coke? Something like that. I suspect that it did. I think it's genius marketing because people were buying Coca-Colas just because their name was on it, or their mom's name was on it, or it has like a cute little name on it, like their kid's name. So they were buying and collecting and sending to each other. I knew that they were running out of names when I found my name, Sergio, on it. Really? Sergio? Really? Wow. I know they'll never get my son's name, Elim. E-L-I-M. That's a very rare name. But they made money on that. Okay, so on social media, there are cans. People are putting pictures of Coca-Cola cans, for example, that says Christ is King. And there's an uproar because people have also been posting pictures of Coca-Cola cans that says, like, Satan is king, or Allah is king. Like, really, right? This is not. I need to know if you see that, or you see people commenting on that. That campaign is not a Coca-Cola company generated campaign where they're throwing those cans out there. They're real. Now, I don't know if the actual cans are real, but the messages are real because Coca-Cola has this program where they allow you to customize cans, put messages on cans. And they have rules related to what you can put on those cans. It's like you can't put Make America Great. You can't put religious stuff on there. But you can't put Jesus as Lord, but somehow the other stuff has made it through. Like, let me go back to the article on this, just so that you understand. If you see it, you need to understand it is not something that is generated by the Coca-Cola company. They do have at Coca-Cola a customizable way for you to generate cans, as a gift or as a novelty. And there's messages that you put in there, and they filter out religious stuff. They filter out political stuff. There's things that you can't do. There is an uproar right now on social media. This is from Fox News. Let me go back to the article. And I'll try to run through the article as quickly as I can, because this uproar, this backlash on social media is real. The customizable, personalized cans, that is real. It has been suspended because when some people put in a message like, Satan is Lord or something like that, they were able to see a picture of what it would look like. Guess what? They took a picture of it and put it on social media. No, those cans don't exist. Well, anyway, I don't think they were actually generated. So you've got folks, faith-based religious expressions that are putting on there. Those religious expressions that are put on customizable, personalized cans, the report from Fox Business says there's a strict algorithm that suppresses those messages compared to secular or other viewpoints. Like the mainstream, Jesus is Lord, it'll exit out. Allah is Lord, block. The Muslims can't put anything on that. But atheist, anti-theist, atheist, secular phrases like God is dead or atheist pride, along with like Buddha bless or something. Yeah, that stuff got through the filter. And people were generating pictures of that stuff. That personalized message feature for Coca-Cola has been suspended. They're reviewing on, why don't you just stick to people's first names, okay? Or I love mom or something like that. Because people always found a way to get around the rules and create a controversy. So if you see those type of cans, those controversial cans, that was a picture generated of what the can would look like. Again, that program has been suspended. First day of school. Oh, by the way, did it say how much did
sales went up? Surprisingly, only 2%. But it had been a 10-year sales decline. So.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Well, it's a way to get a little bump, right?
Yeah.
They're pretty smart. Even so, like ask the intern, air quotes now, how much money does Coca-Cola make in 1 year? See what the intern says. And from that, we'll able to add, just ballpark figure. What is $1 billion, $2 billion, $5 billion? Add 2% to that. That's millions and millions and millions of dollars moving in the right direction, which is an increase in sales. That's why I say
they're not doing so good.
What was it? Right?
They only make $47.94 billion in 2025.
Okay,
47.94 billion.
47. So let's round it to 48.
Yeah,
which 10% of that would be 4.8.
Yeah,
which and you do the 10% of that of 4.8, and then multiply times 2. That's hundreds of millions of dollars they made as a result, just putting people's names on those cans. First day of school for Westlaco IC, and it's probably some other school districts as well. Some of the new rules and state laws in Texas, of course, we know about the 10 Commandments. I need to go back and find that Telemundo. We had a nice person from Telemundo called me up last week. Hey, I'm looking for a Spanish speaker, conservative point of view. Somebody that had a title. Well, yeah. If you don't know this, you probably don't hear it, but Español was my first language. I still speak Español fluently, read it, write it, and I can. I used to make more money on it as far as doing translations, but yeah, I think in English. I think I dream in English. That's how I know, and it is a bit of a chore for me. As you can hear, I'm flexible with English and my expression and the way I'm able to speak to you. To be that nimble with Espanol, it is a real labor for me, but I speak it fluently. And you think I'm probably still from Mexico, but anyway, they called from Telemundo last week because of the 10 Commandments going in Texas schools, and that was the topic. Thank you to the gang over Telemundo that somebody called and did a quick interview. Which, by the way, I had to do it. I had to find a neutral site. it's kind of weird. I was told that the supermarket that we were at, which the one which is my favorite, has a "but" in their name. I'll say that. That's all I'll say. They at Telemundo, they had asked, "Hey, you guys advertise? Well, we just want to do an interview. Can we do it inside your store? Because that's easy to reach." And the marketing people said no. So we went outside, made sure that the logo wasn't. Why is that? Oh, that is so a bunch of weenies. Anyway, well, I guess I understand. They don't want anything controversial, nothing political. It's just, they're just selling food. Okay, fine. So we went outside and did the interview with him, and it was the 10 Commandments. And the reporter told me something that shocked me. She said that a poll that they had gleaned found that between 70 and 80% of folks in Texas, parents in Texas, did not want the 10 Commandments posted at their kids' school. And I guess it was, I'm guessing it was a Spanish-speaking audience. Okay. And if that's the case, then why did you vote for it? Why did you vote to approve the 10 Commandments to being placed in school? And I explained in Espanol that parents, Spanish-speaking parents, again speaking to the Spanish audience, you need to understand they're not conducting church or mass in school. Christianity, the Bible and Christianity, the 10 Commandments, the law for the Jews, the law for Christians, for Catholics, that represents the underpinnings. That is the foundation. That is the base of all law, common law, Magna Carta, the laws that we have. Why is it that killing someone is wrong? Why is it that stealing something is wrong? The concept of property. If you can't steal, then someone must own something in order for that something to be stolen, right? It's the concept of property. False witness. Lying. Why is that wrong? These are the truths that have created Western society and are practiced in Western society. The equality of man and woman, they are the same unto God's eyes. He created them man and woman. Marriage is man and woman. All these ideas in Western society, that's the foundation. And that's what I explained in the interview. These are the foundational truths of Western society. Our children need to talk about this. Freddie, did you talk about this in school? I didn't. Freddie was in school back in the 90s. I was back in school back in the late 80s, in high school. We went an entire high school, junior high school education without talking about the foundations of Western society based in Christian ideas, Judeo-Christian ideas, Christianity and the Bible, which now is required in Texas schools, the 10 Commandments to be placed up there to have a conversation about this and other Bible stories that are part of the American lexicon and sayings that we have. One of the technology, banning of cell phones, and one that I found interesting, which was in the news, requiring high school freshmen to pass a personal financial course. Our children need to think about money management and saving money. That's one thing that has been lacking in schools for the longest time. Prepare our children for real life, real issues, making some real money and saving that money and being disciplined in how to manage that money. All these kids hitting college and they get hit by all these credit cards, falling in debt, stupidly majoring in stuff that's not going to make them any money. They have $100,000 in debt by the time they finish school. All money issues. That's required in Texas now. They have to pass a financial course. Let's go pay some bills, Freddie. Speaking of financials, time is 10:24. The Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. This hour of the program, a service of South Texas Buick GMC and Lone Star National Bank.
It's another season of Houston Texans football. Tune in for the 2026 season home opener Sunday, September 13th. Kickoff at high noon.
Looking going over the middle. A touchdown, Houston!
On your home for Houston Texans football. News Talk 710 KURV.
The 710 KURV People Poll made possible by Total Imaging Solutions. Their customers have 99.3% of problems fixed within 4 hours.
Back to Drive has officially arrived at South Texas Buick GMC. Drive home in a new GMC Sierra for just $330 a month, or enjoy a stylish Buick Encore GX starting at only $190 a month. Plus, take thousands of dollars off on selected GMC and Buick models. Visit SouthTexasGMC.com or call 661-5000. Celebrating over 20 years with you. Sherry Road exit between McAllen and Mission. South Texas Buick GMC. Not the biggest, just the best.
Jay Gonzalez, the Valley's top lawyer with over 20 years of experience. Jay Gonzalez is simply the best. If you've been injured in a crash, call 1-800-CAR-CRASH today. Calling all truck drivers, fleet owners, logistics professionals, and future CDL drivers. Don't miss the 3rd annual FAR International Bridge Truck Expo on Friday, August 28th at the Bert Ogden Arena in Edinburgh from 11 a.m. till 5 p.m. Explore the latest trucks and equipment. Connect with industry experts. Discover job opportunities. Attend trade sessions. Enter raffles and learn about CDL enrollment. Drive your future forward at the 3rd annual FAR International Bridge Truck Expo. Presented by the FAR International Bridge.
Coming up after the Sergio Show, stay tuned for the Dana Lash Show starting at 11, followed by the Brian Kilmeade Show at 2 on News Talk 710 KURV and on the Radio Potomac app.
Time is 10:26. The Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. Freddie, when's the first game for the Texans? Yeah. That's not till September, right? We are carrying the Texans, right? Okay. And we do have NFL as well. So we'll have NFL Sunday, Monday, Thursday, right? Monday, Sunday, Thursday night NFL coverage. And that's how the hapless Cowboys made themselves on
September 13th.
Ooh, still quite a ways away.
Against the greatest team ever, the Buffalo Bills.
At Buffalo or at Houston?
No, in Houston.
In Houston. Okay, so I'm counting you will not be here that
well,
Monday,
I'm
right?
trying not to be here, but
still trying to get Vandermeer to get you some tickets for that.
Yeah. Or had to pay out of pocket, yeah.
How expensive are those tickets, by the way?
It depends on where you want. You want the nosebleeds? Yeah, you're okay. But you want the ones where you can
like what is okay? Like $100 for a ticket?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Astros are real expensive too.
Yeah.
We went 4th of July. Ooh, I'm embarrassed to say. I'm not even going to say. We were, let's see, just a little bit west of home plate in the field section, one of the upper rows. And let's just say, I think the Astros are probably a bit more expensive than a day at Disney. Yeah. But it was worth it. I tell you what, and I thank God the Lord's, poured his blessings and providence on that game. Deli and I and the boys, I took Deli and the boys to see the Astros July 4th on that weekend. It was supposed to be the start of a long vacation, which it didn't, because we had this National Association of Broadcasters thing trip to Washington, and there I am calling friends. Hey, can you want to join the show? You want to co-sponsor? And so we'll wound up getting like 12 co-sponsors, but I wound up selling all those positions and doing multiple interviews in Washington. So there goes the vacation. That week, July 4th weekend was supposed to be weekend 1, and then we were supposed to jump somewhere else that they had planned and had to cancel all that. I'm not complaining. It's just a blessing to be able to work and to be able to, work with partners and friends of the state. We were in Washington, D.C. for a great cause, great interviews and all that. That's fine. But that was the only portion that became a vacation. We were there for July 4th. The Astros won in comeback fashion. You guys remember that? I don't even remember who they were playing. I just know they were losing like 7 or like 6-2 or 7-2. It's oh crap! I just spent all this money. The hot dogs are all shriveled, and the food wasn't very good this go around. I don't know, for some reason it just wasn't very good. And but little by little they were chipping away and gave us a chance to cheer, and they wound up winning with a Yordan Alvarez homer. a walk-off homer that won the game at the end. And, of course, great memories, videos. I'm going crazy. I posted it online. The kids, everybody's going crazy. It was beautiful, a walk-off fashion in Yordan Alvarez. It was July 4th. And then sit down and watch the roof at Daikin, formerly Minute Maid, Dakin, the roof retracting. I would almost say, despite the fact it was super expensive, I'll almost say that was worth the price of admission. I just found that fascinating how the roof slowly retracted, opened up. You could see the night sky in Houston and then the fireworks show. It was awesome. But you can only do that like once every 2 years. I wish it wasn't that expensive. I remember when Dad and I used to go to the Astrodome, and it was just a few bucks to, not exactly nosebleed section, but we were in the mezzanine, like the second level. Back then it was much more affordable. So Freddie might be at the opening game against Buffalo in Houston mid-September, from what I hear. Like, yeah. So you're saving up your pennies for. Oh no, you're trying to get the tickets from Vandermeer, right?
We'll see.
if you can make it there. It's interesting to say that $100 a ticket in the nosebleed section is not bad.
Mm-hmm.
It goes to show you how bad prices are now to pay these multi-million-dollar salaries.
You know what's crazy, Serge? The Super Bowl, next Super Bowl, is not till February 14th.
They're having it on Valentine's?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Valentine's Day, as one of the producers around here says. That's how he pronounces it.
Remember when it was like the last week of January or maybe even
yes, it
mid-January?
would be like the first Sunday of February.
Yeah. Now it's like.
Why is that? Is it because they got more international games? They're more traveling or what? They're going to Europe more often? Or so
don't know.
Valentine's Day.
Yep.
February 14th, 2027 is the next Super. Which one is it? Super Bowl 150 or 175 or something like that? Time is 10:32. The Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. We'll catch up with news next. This hour, the program is service of South Texas Buick GMC and Lone Star National Bank.
Looking for equipment you can trust from a name that stood strong for over 50 years. Rivera's Machinery has been serving the Rio Grande Valley since it was founded by Tomas Rivera, a man who built his business on hard work, firm handshakes, and treating every customer like family. Today, his grandson Thomas carries that same name and that same commitment forward. 3 generations strong and still family owned. They're your trusted Coyote dealer, offering the full lineup of Coyote equipment. Powerful Coyote tractors built tough for Texas land. Heavy-duty skid steers, smooth-cutting zero-turn mowers, rugged utility vehicles, equipment that's built to work as hard as you do. And here's the best part. Right now, with credit approval, they're offering 0% interest financing on all Coyote equipment, making it easier than ever to put a brand-new Coyote to work on your property. From Tomas to Thomas, the tradition continues. Come join the tradition of family service, hard work, and dependable Coyote equipment. Rivera's Machinery, 3 generations strong. Your hometown Coyote dealer. See dealer for full details.
With the Discover Cashback Card, earn 5% cash back at different categories each quarter on up to $1,500 in purchases. It pays to Discover. Terms apply. See discover.com/5 for details.
Fox News, I'm Roxanne Evans. Iran says the Strait of Hormuz will stay closed until the U.S. changes course. President Trump stepping up economic pressure. Ukraine launches a major drone attack inside Russia, killing at least 13 people as fighting escalates. And several states holding primaries tomorrow. In South Carolina, voters will fill the late Senator Lindsey Graham's seat. His sister, the interim senator, joined Fox and Friends to weigh in on key issues.
They talk about affordability. They talk about gas prices. They talk about the price of groceries. They talk about the cost of health care. I have 2 daughters with serious health issues, so I know how it feels to pay outrageous medical bills. It's a struggle. It can easily bankrupt a family.
Darlene Graham will hold a tele-rally with President Trump tonight. America's listening to Fox News.
Here's 710 KURV. AccuWeather forecast. Partly sunny, hot and breezy this afternoon. Highs in the upper 90s to low triple digits. Still breezy this evening. Otherwise, clear, warm, and humid. Lows only into the lower 80s. Mostly sunny, becoming windier Tuesday. Highs in the upper 90s to near 105. And Wednesday, mostly sunny, windier. Highs in the upper 90s to just over 105. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina on the Valley's official weather station, 710 KURV.
Broadcasting from the Valley's commercial and fleet headquarters studio at PayneAutoGroup.com. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV. The Sergio Show with Sergio Sanchez. Rapid fire headlines.
Here's a story for my ag family, my ranchers and farmers, especially the ranchers on this one. So this report from Texas A&M, an AgriLife Extension chief saying cattle prices are probably going to continue to increase. Got some audio for you, Brady. 3, 2.
Livestock economist David Anderson says tight cattle supplies and continued strong beef demand could push prices even higher. Anderson says U.S. beef production is expected to decline this year and next and potentially into 2028. Drought across the Great Plains, higher input costs, interest rates, and market uncertainty continue to slow efforts to rebuild the cattle herd. Herd expansion may be starting, but Anderson says it'll take time. USDA's July cattle report indicated about 100,000 heifers had been held back, an early sign producers may be beginning to rebuild. The planned reopening of the border to Mexican cattle could also add to feeder cattle supplies. However, Anderson expects imports to ramp up slowly and remain below levels seen before the border restrictions.
That's Kurt Lewis with that report. Speaking of beef, went with Delia and the boys to a popular steak restaurant in the area. I get to see local Farm Bureau director. Every now and then I see Brian Jones out there. He said, "Hey, Serge, bring me the rest of that burger in case you have anything left over." I didn't see you, Brian, because there was nothing left over, not even the fries. Yeah. If I don't eat it, Elam will eat it. Texas Stock Exchange is now a little closer to looking like a real stock exchange.
We visualize those tickers that run alongside of the physical buildings in New York. Well, now it's certainly a strong possibility in Dallas. The current signage rules, though, wouldn't allow it. But the Dallas City Plan Commission gave their approval this week after hearing from the developer.
It's one of the most noteworthy examples of Y'all Street, and the focus on Dallas as a booming financial quarter. Tickers are universally and uniquely specific to stock exchanges.
The city council still has to give its approval. Assuming that happens, the ticker will run along two sides of the building on the north side of Clyde Warren Park, wrapping around one corner.
Eric Bushman with that report. I mentioned to you several days back, the company that's running rigs, driverless rigs, like automated 18-wheelers, driverless taxis, driverless rigs, between Houston and Dallas was going to increase the number of trucks tenfold, I believe was the report. Well, if that's not scary enough, there's another company that's running big rigs, driverless big rigs, between Laredo and Central Texas up in San Antonio, and they want to make it all the way to Dallas. And they're using I-35 driverless big rigs.
This latest push is by a company called Aurora. They're testing autonomous trucks between San Antonio and Austin with a goal of going from Laredo to Dallas on I-35. John Esparza with the Texas Trucking Association says this actually creates jobs at the delivery hubs.
They're taking it from those hubs and dispersing it from there. So it still requires drivers at the end of the day.
This same company already has self-driving trucks delivering freight between Dallas and Houston. Michael Board, News Talk 710 KURV.
Trying to keep the kids safe in high school football practice and band practice outside in the blazing sun. There's new technology that the UIL is now insisting every school apply.
It's called the Wet Bulb Globe Temperature, a device that measures heat, humidity, wind speed, and solar radiation. Some schools have tried it out, but now it's required by the UIL for football or any outdoor sport and for marching band as well. Here's UIL Athletic Director Ray Cepeda.
One of the things that we felt like we could do a little bit better was to adopt the WBGT protocols as it relates to heat management and the practical implications that has for our practices.
If the WBGT reads too high, practices can be shortened or even called off. New protocols also mandate all schools stage an on-site rapid cooling zone featuring cold water immersion tubs filled with ice water just in case a student overheats.
Most of the schools, the huercos, they practice like early in the morning, right, Fred? Like do football practice early in the morning? Yeah, that's right. We're right next door to the Mission football stadium.
Sherryland.
Oh, it's a Sherryland football stadium?
Sherryland.
Okay. Yeah, the lights are on.
Yeah,
like early.
Which means they're practicing in the early morning.
There we go. The huercos. But even so, man, it's
it's still hot.
It's like 84 degrees sometimes. At least the sun's not pounding on you, right, during that time. A couple of, you said 41, right, Freddie? I got a few seconds? Okay. Jury selection. Just a pop mention. Go fish online for this one. Jury selection in the murder trial of the man accused of killing rapper Tupac Shakur. That begins today in Vegas. And Spider-Man, brand new day. $145 million this past weekend. That would be like a record-setting weekend for other movies. Previous weekend, they made like $330 million, and this past weekend, Spider-Man made $140 million. Freddie, what did you give it? 7 out of 10? 8 out of 10? 7 out of 10?
Yeah, 7 out of 10.
There's something
it was good, but it wasn't like, wow, the greatest movie ever.
Okay, maybe you were expecting too much of it when you showed up. Right. Time is 10:41, the Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. This hour made possible by South Texas Buick GMC and Lone Star National Bank.
Hello, Dad.
At LSNB, we build strong foundations on values that matter.
And business practices you can rely on.
Investing in education.
Volunteering in the communities we serve.
And fueling our region's economy.
For over 40 years.
Our mission has been supporting area businesses.
We are LSNB.
Donating more money to more causes than all other area banks combined.
Here, in a place we call home. We are LSNB.
The Valley's Bank.
Jay Gonzalez, the Valley's top lawyer with over 20 years of experience. Jay Gonzalez is simply the best. If you've been injured in a crash, call 1-800-CAR-CRASH today.
Audio streaming on KURV.com. Powered by South Texas Buick GMC, McAllen Mission.